Hi, and welcome to another episode of In the Spotlight series, where we shine a light on SMEs, entrepreneurs, and innovators. I'm Maxine Crow, your host, and I am absolutely delighted to be joined by Stephen Foster of One Golden Nugget today. Hi, Stephen.
Hello, how are you?
I'm really well. You know, it's really it's just such an honor to have you on my show as a guest, and I guess it's been a long time coming, in terms of the journey that we've been on through One Golden Nugget, and just want to share this with the world and share you with it with our community.
Yeah,
So so Stephen, the way we run things, just ask a few questions, and I'm actually going to start off with introduction to yourself and One Golden Nugget.
sure. Well, I'm the founder. I'm the guy who invented it. I've been in business for 32 odd years, done so many things, and founded One Golden Nugget only 3.5 years ago now. And the business collects wisdom from great people. It asks them for, what is your nugget of wisdom, and then we share those nuggets of wisdom via creating communities. We're a community building business. We create books, all sorts of books that share wisdom from great people, podcast shows and live events, and that's what it's become. So we're on a mission to remind people, what they've been through and just how great they are.
Thank you. How did you come up with the idea for One Golden Nugget?
Just before lockdown, actually, I was living in my office at the start of lockdown, and lost everything again for the third or fourth time. I can't quite remember. So it's a great spiritual place to be, an office at 2 a.m, laying on the couch. You get a good perspective of life, and many entrepreneurs have done it. So that was the starting point, really. And I'd run out of money, and I just had this idea of asking people for a nugget of wisdom, really, to improve my own self. So that's what I did. I just started messaging people and on LinkedIn and whoever, reaching out to people and asking them for their nugget, and the thing's grown ridiculously since.
And that's how we met, actually, is reached out to you for that initial event just coming out of lockdown, actually. You talk about your journey and some of the things, living in your office, and what was can you just share a pivotal moment and a turning point that happened for you?
What, in the journey of One Golden Nugget?
Yeah, in the journey. Share something from experiences before for our audience to learn from, or with One Golden Nugget.
It's certainly a pivotal moment in One Golden Nugget was meeting Joe Foster, who's no relation to me, the founder of Reebok, and I know you know Joe. That was a pivotal moment, because there you've got a man who's 88 now, wow. And he built a world super brand. So, and they're the sort of people we attract as One Golden Nugget, the people that have done great stuff. And it's not about wealth, it's just about doing great stuff. And Joe certainly done that. So he allowed me to stand on his shoulders, which is what great people do. They lift others up. So that was an incredibly pivotal moment, and it's actually a life lesson, isn't it? It's a nugget in itself that, one connection can really change everything. One connection can open up so many other doors just from that one thing. So you never know where it's coming from. So be open to it. So that was probably the biggest pivotal moment, I think, building Nugget.
Yeah. And then how do you handle sort of the setbacks and the failures?
Well, I've learned through Nugget to really build my own mental toolkit. And that is, first of all, expectations. They really are, and this is a nugget we just had for a new book, that the expectations are premeditated disappointments. So therefore, you've got to remove that expectation thing out of your life. This is going to happen. This is how it's going to be. I'm not talking. Creating intention is a completely different thing. That's a spiritual thrust of where you want to go to and what you want to achieve. I'm talking about expectation. You've got to be open to the flow of life. So when you get a setback and you've got an expectation built, and that's what it is, it's an expectation built on that thing happening as you think it should happen, and it doesn't, it's quite painful. So, you know, when they do come, you know, I've always sort of, certainly now, you know, there's someone else coming, something's better, you know, this is taking me in this direction. I don't think of them as failures or setbacks or anything. They're just like part of, you know, the river flowing.
The flow of life.
Yeah, it's a boulder, you know, move past it, you know, go on, then, you know, be in flow.
I always liken similar analogy, but it's a forest, and you can't walk through a forest just in a straight line. You're going to have to weave and weave through the trees, or you bang into them. So it's a bit like similar to the flow of water and the flow of life. That's really cool. I like that. I'm going to ask you actually about Survive and Thrive, because that is one of your most recent projects that you've been working on through One Golden Nugget. So do you want to just talk about that with the audience and just what's coming up for that?
We're building a movement, Maxine. It's a game changer.
I forgot to say it's a movement. We're changing
Survive and Thrive is about changing the world. So Survive and Thrive is a movement of 250 exceptional people that all join us as co-authors in our Survive and Thrive book series, of which, funnily enough, you're one. Yeah, I must mention that you're in the first book. So Joe Foster, it's Joe Foster's book, the founder of Reebok, but he brings on 20 exceptional people to all tell their story of survival and thrival and how they've got through stuff. You know, life is not a bowl of cherries. Life is incredibly difficult at times. You know, so these amazing people all share their story of survival and then thrival. And so we bring 20 of those together. Then we create live events, podcasts, build a community, network everybody together, and 250 great people, magic happens. And it's all under the banner of Mr. Joe Reebok. So we've got him on US TV next month, and we're just gonna build this really exclusive, community of just great people helping each other.
Mm-hmm. Have you shared your story
in the book?
Yeah.
No.
You're gonna have to tell it one day. That's a book.
But no, I'm not gonna. I'm not in this book. No, perhaps I should have been.
Maybe next time. I'm sure there's not going to be.
My whole life has been survival. To be fair, up until One Golden Nugget, it's always just been survival. So, it's nice to be thriving for a change. Feels good.
Well, that brings me on to the next question in terms of your growth and scaling. So, what's your plans for One Golden Nugget and the future?
The future is to create a global movement that helps people to become better versions of themselves through sharing wisdom, and to remind people that they can get through anything. Any tough day you've ever had, you've got through it. Any problem you've ever had, you've solved it. We're very resilient people, us humans. So Survive and Thrive and One Golden Nugget in general is about those reminders. And when you're having a tough day, and there's so many times I've sat at my desk thinking, how the hell am I going to get through this? I've got no solutions, no clues. You always find a way. There's always a next move. So we're there to remind people of that and to help them find their next move. And to network, and so it's about building this global community alongside books, and we've got plans for TV and all sorts of things. I just don't think the world needs small thinkers anymore. Think big. If it doesn't happen, you've learned something, right? Go again. That's the idea.
Yeah. Can you just share some of the other books that you've been working on, and some of the great people that you've met on the journey?
Yeah, sure. Well, we've just done a project in Dubai called Dubai Business Leaders, which is again another community of people coming together and telling the story of Dubai, because Dubai's really changed my life. It's where most of my customers are. So we told that story, and then we've done another project called The Art of Leapfrogging, which is with a guy called Maher Kadora, who built Accenture in the Middle East. Very, very successful guy from the Middle East. So that's another community about leapfrogging. So it's about taking those giant leaps sometimes, and that can be through using an AI tool or something you implement into your business that
Yeah.
then allows you to jump and accelerate. So we're building a community around that.
Yeah.
And I've met thousands of people now about their nugget, and the very, very first nugget I ever asked anybody was the film star Warwick Davis. Warwick Davis, he's the little guy. He was Willow in Willow.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And he was Yoda in Star Wars, and he's got, he did stuff with Ricky Gervais on UK TV and whatever. So he was my very first nugget, the guy who played Yoda in Star Wars. And, it was about expect nothing and just live in the present moment and love what you do. And that was the very first nugget that kicked us off. So Yoda kind of sparking the lighting the spark that kicked off nugget. I kind of like that. I like stuff.
Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. And I'm sure you've just I guess in your journey you're probably always learning and coming across. What's the most nuggets that you've had in a day? Just
well, I know that I've done like at least 14 nugget calls in a day, so to collect those nuggets. But some days, we get hundreds through. If we run an Instagram ad or something, people love to share their nugget. They love to share their story, and that's such a wonderful thing. So because it makes them feel good. They remind themselves, that nugget of wisdom reminds themselves that what they've been through and they've overcome it, or how far they've come on their journey. So we're not short of nuggets.
How do you just talking about some specific questions now, how do you manage the unique challenges faced by SMEs, especially if there's like competition, or do you find that you're in such a niche? Do you have any competition?
Nah, not really. We're one off, because only we do it like we do it. Yes, there's other people that are going to write books all day long. There's other people that create communities, but and I think this is this is the thing about building a brand and a business. You need to have a central character in the brand, the hero character, and that tells a story, and then you align everything around that. And I think that if you build a strong enough message and a strong enough brand, I just I don't get the competition thing. I think it's great if everybody else is in the marketplace as well, but my secret to building a company is just to make it up day by day. I've no idea what I'm doing tomorrow. Normally it's kind of like I've got an idea as to where we're going, but I make it up day by day. I have no idea what I'm doing.
So if I was to say to you, where would you see One Golden Nugget in 5 years? What would you say?
Well, the intention would be to create a unicorn, of course, not for the money, but just because we're adding so much value to the world. Can we do that? Well, we've got plans to create a search engine with AI so that you'll be able to type in any problem you've got and it will deliver you a search result back based on the nuggets. So if we can start getting into that area and build, we could go anywhere.
Yeah.
So I just again, I don't think ever limit what you think you can build. So I'd say in 5 years we'll be a unicorn. So there's your soundbite in 5 years.
Yes, well, this is a
wherever I am.
We are streaming live, so you heard it here first on In the Spotlight.
Living in a tent.
So, what's the best piece of advice you've received?
Best nugget?
No, best piece of advice that you've received as an entrepreneur.
Oh, just keep going. Nothing more. That is the secret to life, the secret to success, the secret to anything is just keep going, because sometimes it feels impossible and sometimes the going feels so hard. It feels like you're wading through treacle. You just keep going. And I gave up a couple of times on my journey at different points. And I've got to tell you, Maxine, when you give up, the pain's so much more intense than to keep going. I run marathons, and to stop running at 17, 18 miles is more painful than to keep going.
Oh my God.
So for me, that's the biggest bit of wisdom there is. You just keep going.
Yeah.
Don't stop.
That is really, it's quite interesting because sometimes as well, what about when you're what do you do like when you're ill, or like when you've got days where where do you go? What's your, I know you've just said just keep going, but what do you do to get through those days? And for entrepreneurs out there, they're on their own, don't necessarily have a team. What would you say to them?
Well, in terms of switching off from the process.
Yeah, or just how they keep going. What
Well, it's
can they
balance.
do to?
Actually, I don't subscribe to the Elon Musk idea of working 100 hours a week. I'm not down for that. I'm happy to work 60, 70, but I'm not going above that. So the rest of the time I'm running, or I'm going to yoga, or I'm in my steam room, or I'm meditating, or I'm with people I love. And you have to have that. And do you know what my new nugget tip is today? I've started doing this only yesterday, to be fair, but at 6 p.m. at night, it's turning my phone off. Now, can you believe this? Until the next morning, when I've been for a run, I'm ready, and then I sit down at my desk. So this morning I turned it on at 9:30.
Yeah,
I can't believe it. It was really painful last night to do that. But the point being, I'm getting fed up of sat at night going scroll.
yeah.
It's so that's my new plan: is ditch the phone, and then, because then last night I was there creating plans, and I had some paper, and I'm still working, but I was in a creative kind of mode.
Yeah, that's quite interesting, because I don't take my phone up with me. I leave it in my office at night, because it's so tempting that you hear that ping 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 ping, and the busier you are as well, you're just gonna keep looking. So I like that tip, and I think our audience should take some advice from that as well. The next time I speak to you, I want to know if you're still doing it.
No, and this is the thing: discipline. I'm going to do it. I'm 100% doing it. Well, it's lucky you're not. It's lucky it's not 6 o'clock, because I'd have to just but
you just have to drop off the line.
I'm gone. No, but I'm doing it again tonight. I can't wait. And last night, do you know what? I got peace. So I've just discovered that I've been overworking. That's my point. And just because it's so addictive to work. I just love it. But there's got to be a balance.
There's a question I was going to ask you about the work-life balance. So you have touched on that. But what would you say is your ideal balance, work-life balance? Here's me doing the...
Is in terms of the day, to get up about 7 a.m. and then do some stuff, i.e. go for a run, come back about 9:30, crack on, start the day ready with an intention as to what you're going to create, and then you're working through the day with little bits of little bit of meditation, chill out, whatever, and then get to around 6 o'clock and it's over, and then working in the evening, being creative or doing yoga or something else. So does that answer your question?
It does, and particularly for me, I do struggle with focus, because there's like lots of different things happening. I mean, and so what would you say? I mean, this is probably just a bit of advice in terms of maintaining focus. What would you advise?
I don't always maintain focus. Sometimes the path becomes so cloudy, so desperate, so angry. Sometimes, I mean, truthful, life ain't a bed of roses. So I don't always maintain focus. Absolutely not. Sometimes my focus goes completely whack, and then sometimes it's completely crystal clear. And I think you're not supposed to be in focus the whole time. I think sometimes you have to wade through the stuff, and sometimes you're in complete flow. Today I'm in complete flow. I know exactly what, and I think that was last night, turning off the phone, to be fair.
Yeah.
Seriously, I do, because I think it's just given me an opportunity. So I don't always maintain focus, but what I try and do is maintain intention, and that's what I'm creating. No matter about all the twos and fros in between, that's what I'm creating. I'm focused on that. Don't let go of that intention. Not an expectation, but intention.
There's a nugget right there. You don't always maintain focus, but you have to maintain your intention.
Yeah, don't always maintain focus. Sometimes fall apart, sometimes not know where you're going, but always have the intention.
Yeah, Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, I do as well.
It's a really good one. It's a really good
I just
one.
made it up, but yeah, no, it's good.
So let's move on to some technology, because we know about ChatGPT. You talked a bit about technology a bit earlier. With the rapid pace of the advancements of technology, how are you going to ensure that your niche offering remains relevant and up to date?
Do you know what? I'm so lucky to speak to people about their nugget. Often people tell me. We speak to a lot of futurists, a lot of people in AI. So by default, I'm learning. Not, I'm just learning from these people that are doing it. Like for example, technology. We just found I never heard of it, right? Maybe I should have heard of it, but I found an AI tool that can take a piece of video, and the AI will go through and listen to it, and then cut little shorts out of the videos, of relevant pieces of the content that the AI thinks is relevant. And you can tune the AI. So that's a bit of technology you can sign up to online. I've never heard of it. And before,
do you remember the name of it?
Yes, I do, because I'll have to post it or something.
Send it or post
But
it.
before, we'd be watching an hour's video, trying to create the timings for the thing. This thing, just push it in, it squirts out the shorts with subtitles as well. It's done. So in terms of technology, and I found that out through just a guy who gave me a nugget. So all these tools keep popping up all the time. So I think we've got to be very aware of what tools are out there and how they can benefit your business to, cut shortcuts, correctly, by using tech.
What would you say to people that are a little bit, is there such a word as tech phobic, or people that really want to stay away from it and be traditional? And what would you say to them?
There are niches for sure. People still like vinyl, right?
That is true.
Maybe posting somebody a letter and saying, here I am. Would you like some, I'd like to become my customer, sales that I personally think that if you don't like tech, then find somebody that does like tech and pay them to do the job for you. That's Henry Ford's thing, right? You don't need the skill; you just find somebody else that can do the job. So I would say that's madness to do that. Not to be involved in tech. We're in a technology world, so you're going to get left behind.
Yeah, that is so true.
I don't think writing letters with a typewriter works.
Not in this day and age.
No.
So just in terms of the listeners, how can they contact you? How can they share if they have inspiration or nuggets of wisdom they want to share? How can they contact you? What can they actually do?
Just go to One Golden. Is that your doorbell?
Oh my goodness!
Just go to onegoldennugget.com and they can interact with us all they like there.
Thanks, Stephen. What would you say? Can you give us like two nuggets of wisdom? Something that we haven't spoken about today, something that can inspire entrepreneurs, listeners, anyone that's on a journey that they're struggling. What would you?
Yeah, of course. Well, the first one is, ultimately, that happiness is the goal. Doesn't matter what you're doing. The goal, really, the feeling you want to get is a happy feeling, and happiness feels so good, right? We love that feeling. So to get to happiness, the nugget is that kindness is the route to happiness. So by being kind to everybody, even those people that are unkind to you, in any situation, kindness is the route that takes you to happiness, because it feels good to be kind. So that changed my life, because it's like, forget monetary things. Yes, we all need money to pay our bills, but forget all the shiny things in life. They don't mean anything. It's about cultivating happiness within you, and you do that through kindness. So that was that was certainly a great nugget. And then I met a guy in a pub in London called Nick Ogden, and Nick founded WellPay, the credit card transaction company. $1 billion. Just in a pub, Nick actually invented e-commerce, and his nugget was very simple. If you don't ask, the answer's always no. So, and why is that nugget important? Because I don't think people sometimes like to ask. You know, and anybody watching this, whatever, I would say, well, go and ask for what you want, because you know, if it's ethical and the other person's going to benefit and you're going to benefit, why wouldn't you ask?
Yeah.
You know, so you're creating a product, great service, you've got a business, go out there and ask people. You know, and a lot of them will say no, but some of them will say yes, and then you know, a lot more will say no. Some of them say yes. You know, that's how you run a business.
Yeah, it's good that you say that and point that out, because even when you're starting on a new journey, you do you want to get back into that comfort zone where you've been, and you're venturing out somewhere new. So it's nice to hear that advice from you. So, Stephen, is there a book, podcast, or a resource that's been really influential for you?
Certainly Think and Grow Rich, the book by Napoleon Hill was, because you know the underlying message of that is thoughts become things, because they are their spiritual seeds. So yeah, that changed my life, because then you go around sowing good things, and you know, some of it's not good, of course, because that's life, but hopefully the majority of what you sow is good, because the intention's there and it's done for the right reason. So Think and Grow Rich, you know, really opened my eyes. And then you know, another book is, you know, Paulo Coelho. You know, his works, you know, incredible.
What's his? Well, I haven't heard of him. What's his works?
Paulo Coelho.
Yeah.
The Alchemist. Yeah, it's an incredible book. Yeah, it's about a young shepherd boy that goes on a journey of discovery to find these gems, and then he realizes actually it was always inside of him. That's what The Alchemist is about. Yeah, it sold billions of so I love that book. You know, any book by One Golden Nugget, obviously. You know, I spend all my time reading everything we've done repeatedly. And to be fair, I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. I should do. Sorry, but I don't. And actually, I'm gonna do that. Actually, after this has reminded me to listen to more podcasts. I must do that. So that's really it.
I was going to say it's quite interesting, because I mean, for me, I'm quite audible, so listening is the way that take things in. And everyone's different. I had a guest on, doesn't read very much, but no, it's always the opposite way. No, yeah, doesn't read much, but then listens to things as well. So we're coming to the top of our time. I know you've given us quite a lot of wisdom and nuggets today, and I'm going to see what else I can squeeze out of you. So, any other final words of wisdom and encouragement that you'd like to share?
You know, for anybody, it doesn't matter where you are in life. You know, life is going to send you problems, and it's going to send you occasionally the odd chaos. And the thing with life is that's what life is meant to be. You know, problems are there not to stop you; they're there to be solved and smashed. And so, when a problem arrives in your life, it's like flood it with love. You know, there's the problem. Right, great. How can I get really involved in this and solve it? Because that's what life wants you to do. It doesn't want you to stop. So I always used to be a thinker that thought problems were there and I'm the only one with problems and this is going to stop me. It's not fair. You know, no. You know, it's like, oh, problem, great, let's go. You know, and it's not a problem. It's a circumstance to learn and grow from and overcome. So, and then when chaos appears, you know, and that storm arrives, sometimes the storm is there not to stop the path, but to clear the path. So to think like that. And that's the way I try and spend my days. It's looking at those things that happen and go, great, let's do it. You know, find a way forward. So that would be my final kind of thing.
Oh, Stephen, it's been really great having you on and actually spending some quality time with you in the spotlight. For the audience, this is Stephen Foster from One Golden Nugget, and I look forward to Survive and Thrive and posting all about that for our audience and for everyone to hear about it. Stephen, thank you so much.
Pleasure. Love you dearly. See you, Maxine.
Take care.
Bye.